And that is the best thing that you have as a result of having lived on the planet for longer. You know a hell of a lot of people, and that's across all facets of life. All of those people, even people, on your son's little league team, those are people in your network. And I actually know a person who was out of work for like 2 years, was struggling so hard to find a job and ended up finding one through his little league coach's wife. Literally, that is how it happened. It was that sort of far off into the ether, right? So like people need to think about their networks much more expansively and go forward with confidence and curiosity. So I think it's really uncomfortable. People hate the word networking. It's really just talking to people. It's really just being curious about
Right.
others. It's really just putting yourself out there. And you would be shocked at how much can happen from like a coffee chat. I know coffee chats get a bad rap too, of course. So make sure you're like giving back as well. But networking, very rarely do I hear someone say, "Oh, I applied online and I got a job." I feel like that's almost a
Right.
waste of your time at this point. The market is so hot trash. It's so flooded with great qualified candidates. Everyone's getting ghosted. The jobs are fake. Like it's ridiculous. So get aligned into some actual human being. Lean into humanity, lean into your community, and lean into your relationships. That is so critical, and it will set you apart. So I'm glad we could double down on that. And for people who are really trying to think about what's next, it's a really big conundrum, especially if you've never worked outside of corporate. It's like, I only know how to work in this system. Corporate doesn't teach you how to take that and do it somewhere else, right? Like, why would they? There's no incentive for them to do that. But, if you can actually sit with, basically, I learned this from a woman named Amanda Northcutt, who has a company called Level Up Creators, and she helps people create their own boutique consultancies out of corporate. So make that sort of off ramp. And she had this idea that I thought was really great, which is basically to look at all the things that you've done in your career, like outline specific projects and all that stuff. Then you do a circle with like, what do I actually like doing? Right. And so you've got this Venn diagram going, but then crucially, the third part is what the heck will people actually pay me money to do? And so coming to that sort of concept and just like really leaning into what you find and then not being afraid if it's too specialized, because sometimes that can be the most helpful of all. But after that, it really is working your network and your relationships in order to secure clients and thinking of clients in a way that we do customers and like SaaS companies. Like, what's the LTV of this potential client? And expanding your mind into the ways in which it could be something more than a one off engagement. So I would encourage people to think of it that way, because there's so many people who are like, dude, I know I got to do a plan B. I know I'm probably gonna get laid off, but like, where do I start? And it's such a like overwhelming question, especially for just corporate worker bees. But the truth is we've all done a lot of cool shit and we all have a lot of experience in certain things that do set us apart. And the other reframe is if you think of the people for whom you've worked, the companies for whom you've worked as clients rather as like companies that you just were a part of, then you realize, oh, I did this for them. Oh, I did that for them. And then you can take, all the knowledge that you put together there and start to amass sort of a body of work, if you will, like the wins that you've accomplished over the course of your career. And that can give you like something tangible to work with as you're moving forward. Cause I think too often people are just like, dude, like I worked at X company for 15 years and like I did this project and I had that boss and whatnot, but they don't think of it in ways that can be pushed outside of that organization. So I just think we need to we need to do that exercise. We need to start like just with one step. And I think that's probably the best first step I've ever heard of personally, is that sort of Venn diagram to design what do I really want to do next? But also you don't want it to be soul sucking and joyless.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.